Hello and welcome to Blythe Business News, where for this edition, I'm joined by Marty Knauth. Marty is Chief Executive Officer of Zanaga Iron Ore Company. Zanaga, listed in London on the AIM market, with a symbol of ZIOC and a market capitalisation of around £63 million sterling. The company is developing an iron ore project in the Republic of Congo. Marty, first time on the programme, welcome. Before we get into the details of the exciting news you've just announced, can you give the viewers a quick overview, intro to the company and the project, please?
Thank you, and good day to the audience. The Zanaga Iron Ore Project originally kicked off in 2007 with a very intensive exploration effort, which over the course of $350 million being spent, the majority of which was invested by Xstrata through to April 2014, when the first feasibility study was then published. That feasibility study outlined a base case resource of nearly 7 billion tonnes and a reserve of a bit over 2 billion tonnes, and then went through the full government in Republic of Congo permitting exercise and process with full support of the community and state, culminating in mining convention being passed in law, inclusive then of the mining licence and environmental permits. In April 2024, we updated that feasibility then to $2024 of the day on the back of an intensive and comprehensive global market inquiry. And we're in a position now of which we, following this transaction, are able then to start making real progress towards construction of the Zanaga Iron Ore Project.
Before we get to the today's news, just talk a little bit, please, about the quality iron ore, because I understand it's very high grade with very low levels of impurities. Is that right?
It certainly is. And this outlines the absolutely fantastic economic model that the Zanaga project it can be measured by. So from that resource of approximately 7 billion tonnes and a JORC compliant reserve of 2 billion tonnes, we're talking about a base case production model here of the hematite reserve being produced and exported by a slurry pipeline to the port for high-grade pellet fines and feed around 12 million tonnes per year at 66% iron. Stage 2 of the project then starts to exploit the magnetite resources, which sits below the hematite resource. And again, we're looking at 18 million tonnes a year at 68.5% iron, for a total production output of up to 30 million tonnes a year, of which, through the commissioning phase and into operation, would make Zanaga one of the largest, lowest cost, most reliable producers of high-grade iron ore pellet fines and feed to the global market. Balanced with the mass of high-grade iron is a relatively low impurities of phosphorus, alumina, and silica.
Right. Thank you for that. So I get it. It's a very large and very high-grade, low-impurity iron ore deposit. So let's now talk to today's news, where there have been, I think, two significant pieces of information you've shared with the market. The first is around the fundraise, and the second is about the group of investors you brought into the project. I'm going to come to the investors in a moment, but first of all, give us an insight to the structure of the fundraise and what you're going to use the money for.
So this transaction has been extremely exciting. We negotiated an offer from Glencore to buy their shares, which equated to about 43% of the Zanaga listed company. And of that investment now we've received from our new interests, we're not only able then to engage the global equity markets when it comes to leading global operators, but also off-takers as well. And so upon the transaction of buying back these shares from Glencore, we're actually able now to talk with other major companies around the world and then open the discussions around forming a construction consortium. The additional use of funds of which we've raised through here will provide us then more than a 12-month budget runway to not only complete the remaining engineering activities to take us to a financial investment decision, but also then to actually spend money on the ground into the project where this investment needs to go to get us to that next plateau of project development and actually see this through the construction and commissioning phase.
Okay, so now let's turn to this team of investors you've brought in, some very well-known names. Talk us through them and what is it they're going to bring to the project?
This new group of investors bring a great weight of credibility and belief in the Zanaga project, and the business growth will achieve what we have envisaged over the last recent years. Sir Mick Davis is an absolute legend in the mining business globally, and famously led Xstrata through its magnificent growth phase until 2013, and is well respected in the mining capital markets and equity businesses, as well as then transformation growth. He brings wisdom, advice, and that integrity that we require then to take this business and the project to the next level. Mr. Mark Kudafani also led Anglo American as chief executive for a 10-year period, and one of the most successful periods of Anglo American, and particularly brings large project African experience from his board positions at Total Energies, but also a like-for-like business development iron ore model from Minas Rio in Brazil, of which Zanaga has already experienced and will learn then from Minas Rio's commissioning, as well as operational models, of which I'm looking to apply at Zanaga as well. Mr. Tony Treyer was also the CEO for Anglo American in the early 2000s for a significant period when their iron ore business unit was growing, and is credited as well then for the definition and acquisition of the Kumba assets, of which then has supported not only South African commodity businesses, but also is seen as an operating model in Africa, particularly with logistics, as well as then people training and business development as well. Partnered also then from the Anglo-American stable, Mr. Tony O'Neill, who again for a long period of time was a group technical director, transformational expert, and brings to us experience in risk management, operations and construction consortiums, and is able then to sit alongside ourselves with and technical expertise in as we bring our project partners together. And within that jigsaw puzzle of the consortium actually to execute the project, Tony will give us a great deal of experience. Mr. Phil Mitchell also looked to join me on board and comes from a long dedicated experience at Rio Tinto, where he was famously looking after business development, transformational projects, as well as in acquisitions, as well as then the technical integrity and the transformational models applied for Rio Tinto globally, which then ultimately for the business unit he was leading achieved more than 300 million tonnes of iron ore exports per year as well. Mr. Gagan Gupta is the founder and chief executive of Arise Corporation, who in the last 10 years has developed 5 significantly export mineral and particularly mineral export facilities in Northwest Africa, and is seen as an expert within the business in logistics and famously as well in the development of special economic zones, of which we at Zanaga will be the core and cornerstone tenant at the Point Noir SEZ, of which we've recently announced in December, which will be hosting and co-funding with us the bulk mineral export facility for Zanaga as well. Gagan also brings with him the great belief in the Republic of Congo, just like ourselves, integrity, as well as commitment to do things the right way in a nation that needs this infrastructure then to grow a minerals-based community and economy as well. And Peony Capital Resource Partners, again, brings a consortium from North America, of which through there we've also signed a 20% offtake agreement with Gulf Iron and Steel. And this private equity fund has, again, some of the major players in North America, which provide us new equity opportunities, as well as opportunities to grow and communicate through the global sphere outside Africa and into Asia and North America.
Okay, so we've got now 12 months of working capital. So what does that mean in terms of news flow coming out of Zanaga? What should viewers, what should investors, what should potential investors be looking for in the coming months?
So we have 2 major work streams at hand now. The first of which is the completion of the engineering activities, as well as the update of the environment, social, health and impact assessments, and critically their mitigations from those impact assessments to take us through to a construction decision in front of the board. In parallel with that, we'll also be working to form the construction consortium, both from investment as well as an execution point of view. And I look forward very much in the coming months then to keeping you and the audience and our other stakeholders up to date as to how this project progresses.
Marty, thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future. That was Marty Knauth, Chief Executive of the Zanaga Iron Ore Company, giving us a very good update there on the fundraise they've just announced, and also this team of investors they've brought in, and indeed what they intend to do with the money. That's it from this edition of Blythe Business News. Thanks for watching.